If you are new to the channel, then subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further notification. Okay student, welcome you all to this new lecture in GATE EM theory series. So today again we will be solving 5 questions starting from question number 26, 27, 28, 29 and then 30. Okay, then let's try to solve these questions. Okay student, if you come to question number 26, the capacitor is made with a polymeric dielectric having an epsilon R is equal to 2.26 and a dielectric breakdown strength of 50 kV per centimeter. Per centimeter, the breakdown voltage, that means the voltage that it can withstand is 50 kV. The permittivity of the free space is given epsilon naught. The rectangular plates of the capacitor have a width of this and a length of this. So area you can find it out. The maximum electric charge in the capacitor. So charge equal to Q equal to CV. So maximum voltage you can apply. So you can find C. Then you multiply it by CV, that will give. But for finding C, they have not given you D, the distance between the plates. But they have given voltage you are applying per centimeter, you are applying 50 kV. So you can calculate capacitance for per centimeter. For 1 centimeter gap, because voltage also between two gaps. Voltage is to apply it between two terminals. So the gap is 1 centimeter. For 1 centimeter you are applying 50 volt. For 1 centimeter you calculate capacitance. So you know capacitance for 1 centimeter, you know capacitance voltage for 1 centimeter. So you can multiply these two to find the charge. So the maximum charge that you can have is C into V. So 26. So C will be equal to per centimeter I am calculating. So that's why I have considered it is 1 into 10 to the power minus 2. And it is 2.26 into 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. And then area is here, it is 20 centimeter, then multiplied by 40. 20 into 40 into 10 to the power minus 4. So if you do it, you will find your answer is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 10 farad. Now once you know C, but this is for centimeter, so voltage is also for centimeter. Per centimeter you are giving 50 kV. So the charge that you can store is 50 kV per centimeter, and this is also per centimeter. So you can multiply it. So that much if you multiply it, then you will get it 50 kilometer means 50 into 10 to the power minus 3. So if you do it, it is 8 microcoulomb. That is your option C. Now if you come to 27, C0 is the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor with where is the dielectric as shown in the figure A. So this is the capacitance C0. If half of the entire gap is shown filled with the dielectric, half is filled with dielectric epsilon R, the expression of the modified capacitance. So now you can see it will be two capacitance. Both these capacitance will be connected in series or parallel because you are taking from this. So this is one capacitance C1, this is one C2. So you can see between these two terminals, these are parallel. So C1 is in parallel with C2. So you need to calculate, that's it. So C1 will be equal to how much? What is original C0? Original C0 was for this one, that is epsilon 0 A by D. Now what will be C1? Because epsilon 0 is same, but A is also divided by 2 because you have divided it by two parts. So the area, this was the plate area, this 2 was the plate, this was total area. Now it is half, so it is A by 2. Divided by distance remains same, so it is D. So similarly what will be your C2? C2 will be equal to epsilon 0 epsilon R, that is also A by 2 divided by D. So what will be C now? This plus this. So if you add these two, if you add epsilon 0 A by D common, epsilon 0 A by D, then it is half epsilon 0 A by D, then it is epsilon R by 2. So this one is nothing but C naught. So C naught by 2 is 1 plus epsilon R. So that is your option A. Now if you come to 28, the parallel plate capacitor consisting of two dielectric materials shown in the figure. The middle of dielectric slab is placed symmetrically with respect to the plates. That means the gap is same. Whatever gap here, the same gap is here. It is placed symmetrically, this dielectric slab. You put it inside these two plates and it is symmetrically placed, means both sides are equal. This gap and these gaps are equal. Total is D, this is half. So D by 4 will be this side, D by 4 will be this side. If the potential difference between one of the plates, you take one plate, suppose this plate I have taken, and the nearest surface of the dielectric stick, and up to this much nearest surface for this plate, what is the nearest surface of the dielectric? This one. So this voltage is given as 2 volt, potential across these two. Then the ratio of the E1 E2. So you know if this is 2, this will also be 2 because both are symmetrically placed. C1 is equal to this capacitance and this capacitance are equal. There is 3 capacitance. One C, you can think it in this way. There are 3 capacitance. So one C1, this is C2, this is C3. So C1 and C3 both are equal. So whatever voltage here, same voltage will appear here, because this is the voltage, this 10 volt you are applying here. So if it is 2 volt they are saying, so this is also 2 volt. Any plate between any plate and nearest dielectric surface. So obviously this voltage is 2 plus 2, 4, 6 volt, because total is 10 volt from here to here. So if it is 2 volt, the middle one is 6 volt. So C1 by C2, which is equal to V2 by V1. This one we have seen, because all the three capacitance here you can see you are connecting between these two. So C1, C2, C3 all are in parallel series. You see, you go this side, this come in, so they are all in series because you are connecting between these two plates. So this is C1 look like in C2, then C3. So all are connected in series. So suppose if I forget this one, there is no need. If I take these two only, that will be sufficient. So C1 by C2 is equal to V2 by V1, because Q equal to CV. So Q equal to C1 V1, because same charge is flowing through all three, that is equal to C2 V2. So C1 by C2 will be equal to V2 by V1. Now C1 by C2 is equal to what is V2? V2 is equal to 6 by V1 is 2, that is 3 volt. This is given C2 by C1. Okay, now what is the value of C2 by C1? That we have to place. Now C1 is equal to, this is epsilon naught into epsilon 1 into A divided by, what is this gap? This gap is D by 4. Because it is total D, then half is gone, then remaining half, that is also divided into two parts. Suppose this is 10, so 5 is gone, so the remaining 5 is divided into two parts. So it is 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, then 5 is equal to 10. So this is D by 4. And what is C2? Is epsilon naught, epsilon 2, this is 2. Again area, this is D by 2. So you can find the ratio between these two. What is C1 by C2? So if you put it there, it will be epsilon 1, 4 epsilon 1 divided by epsilon 2, 2 epsilon 2. If you divide this by, everything will, these will get cancelled, D will get cancelled, it will be 4 epsilon 1 divided by 2 epsilon 2, it is equal to 3. So if you do it, it is epsilon 1 is to epsilon 2 is equal to 3 by 2, that is 3 is to 2, which is option C. And if you come to 29, a hollow metallic sphere of radius r is kept at a potential of 1 volt. Okay, total electric flux coming out of the concentric spherical surface of radius r, so which is greater than r. So that sphere, small sphere, was kept inside a bigger sphere. Bigger sphere was capital R, small sphere was radius r, small r, whose potential is kept at 1 volt. So that is enclosed by another big sphere, and the total flux coming out of this is, so I know total flux coming out of any closed surface is by Gauss law is the total charge enclosed. So what is the charge enclosed by the small sphere? So the small sphere charge will be equal to Q equal to CV you can take, because it is a sphere. You can find capacitance of that one, voltage is already given. So the total flux coming out is, as per Gauss law, is equal to charge enclosed, Q enclosed, and Q enclosed is CV. CV, you know, this is for spherical capacitance 4 by epsilon naught into R into voltage is here 1. So it will be option A. Okay, 30. Two semi-infinite dielectric regions are separated by a plane boundary at y equal to 0. The dielectric constant of the region, one region dielectric constant is epsilon 1, another region is epsilon 2, y less than 0, y greater than 0. Suppose this is y. We can treat it in any way. Suppose this is my x, this plane is x and z, this is x, this is z, this is y. So this is the boundary which is separating. Below the table, the one dielectric is there, above the table another dielectric is there, which is below the table dielectric is 1, above the table it is 2. It is region 1, region 2, and dielectric are 2 and 5. So below the table that E epsilon r is equal to 2, above the table it is 5. So this side dielectric is 5, below the table it is 2. Region 1 has a uniform magnetic field of this one, where this and the electric field in the region 2. What will be the electric field? Now let me discuss the boundary conditions of two dielectrics. Suppose this is a boundary of dielectric 1, this is epsilon r1, this is epsilon r2. So both sides there will be E and D, and we know the relation between D and D. D is equal to epsilon naught into E, or it will be epsilon naught. If it is a relative permittivity, then epsilon naught into epsilon naught. In free space it will be epsilon naught, and if it is dielectric is there, then it is epsilon naught. It is the D is independent, E is depending upon the what material you are using. Okay. Now for any electric field you have two parts. Suppose this is my electric field, one moving from this side to this side. So obviously D will be little greater than this one because epsilon is a fraction. Okay, forget it now. You can think of this one. So any D that is coming out, these will have two parts. One is tangential part, one is a normal part. I am not going this side. So this E, whatever E in the first one, is have a normal part, is having a tangential part. Similarly, whatever E this side, whatever E, that will also have a normal part here. It is not far, it is on the same point, E2T, and this is also have a E2N. Now what do you think? If you move along this path, if I move along this path, will there be a change in potential? No, there will not be a change in potential because I am moving the same path and it is the boundary of these two. So moving this path means you are moving tangentially. Tangentially if you move, then you move along the curve. If you want to move along the curve, you have to, every point you have to see what is tangent and you have to move a little step forward. Again you have to say what is tangent. You come here, again you say tangent. You come here, again you said. If you want to move along this curve, you have to move along the tangent. You move along the tangent, come here, again move along the tangent. You come here, again move along the tangent. So you reach here, again you move. So this is the way to move along the curve. You move along the tangents. Okay, so if you move along the curve, there is no change in the potential. That means your E1t should be equal to, this is the tangent, E2t. So tangentially this vector should be equal. So this one you can see. Now what is D with respect to then this one? So D will be here because D is your D1t, because D will be little big in magnitude. This will be D, which will also have a part D1et and D1n. Why D is magnitude is greater? Because you are D is greater because you multiply with something E, then you are getting D. You can treat it whatever. D smaller or greater, that doesn't mean, just the vector. Okay, so it will be D1t divided by epsilon naught or epsilon r, epsilon naught into epsilon r1, and this will be D2t by epsilon naught into epsilon r2. So you find a relation between D and that is flux density. This is the relation between electric field. This is the relation. Okay, now you come to the normal components. If you come to the normal components, what will happening there? This normal component. So what now you think, because normal component your E1 is this, E2 is this. So E1 is in this dielectric, E2 is in there. Obviously there will be change. In electric, there will be change in potential because if you move here one dielectric, if you move here another dielectric, so there will be a change in potential. Material you are changing, so potential obviously will change. You change from one point to another point in the materials, so there will be change in electric potential. So there will be change in E. But you think about D. I told you D1 and D2n, that D doesn't depends on the property of the material, what material you are using. So D will be fixed. From wherever D coming, flux density will be fixed. So D1 normal will be equal to D2 normal in this case, provided that there is no space charge here. Suppose there is a charge placed here. If there is let me write it with no charge in the boundary. Suppose now you place a charge here, then that will also contribute to density, and that in that case it will be D1n minus D2n will be equal to that charge that you are placed in that surface. If you placed it, if you don't place anything, then it is 0, both are equal. Otherwise the difference between the flux density will come due to this only, because that charge density will create the difference between these two. Otherwise, if it is no charge, if it's just a flux density from wherever, suppose you kept your charge here, so the density will remain same irrespective of the medium. But if you keep charge here, because you are now crossing and you have some additional charge, so the difference between these two, in that case actually this one, it will be D2n minus D1n, because you are moving from this side, you kept it. So if you move from this side, D2 minus D1 will be due to this charge. And if it is no charge, then this is this. So this is the boundary condition of two dielectrics. Similarly, you can assume the conductor and dielectric boundary condition. I am not explaining that one. If questions come, I will come. These two boundary conditions are there in electrostatics. So you try to read this one. You remember this one. So now, whatever E now, so because it is, so you have to concentrate on E now, because so if these two are equal, then what will be E? E1 normal divided by, that is multiplied, E naught epsilon r1 epsilon naught epsilon r2 by E2n. So epsilon naught gone. So the relation will epsilon r1 into epsilon 1, epsilon r2 into epsilon e2. This is E. So this is the relation for in case of electric field. So here you see this is the electric field. Okay. So because it is kept in xy plane and the separator is y, so if you move from table below the table to up the table, if you want to change the dielectric, so from, because upside dielectric is different, below the table, just below this just below this one is different, just below this one is different dielectric, above is different. So if you want to move from one region to another region, this is the boundary. So you come from the bottom to top, then you will cross this boundary. Okay. So what is its normal component? Normal component, if you see this surface, if you move along this surface, that is the tangent. So x and z component is the tangent. So if you see your E, they have given you 3i, I am writing ijk so that it will be easy for you, 2k. So this E has two components, one is along xy plane and one is normal to xy plane. If you walk along the normal, then you are crossing this one. You can see to cross this one we take the normal. So the normal is here the y vector, because you are moving in y direction, you are moving up down, this is my y axis. So that's why this is normal. So E normal is your 4j and E tangent is equal to 3i plus 2j. So tangent portion will remain same. This is E1, suppose E1. So E2 tangent will remain same, 3i plus 2k. That we have seen, the tangent portion remains same. So you can see which option is remaining same, 3, 2 will remain same. That is your option A. You can directly give answer by seeing this. Or if you want to find the normal component also, so what will be E2 normal? You have seen E1 normal, E2 normal, this one. So it will be E1 normal. What is E1 normal? Is 4j multiplied by E1 corresponding dielectric ratio, the region 1 it is 2, so it is 2 divided by, it is going to 2, region, second region, that is 5. So you can see it is 1.6j. So if you add these two, finally E2 will be equal to, this was E1, E22 is E2 tangent plus E2 normal. So if you add these two vector, it is 3i plus 1.6j 2k. So that is your answer. If you like the video, then press the like button and please give your valuable comments in the comment section.